Welcome to the apse of the Nativity here in beautiful St. Mary Magdalene Church in Media, Pennsylvania. My name is Father Matthew Guckin, and I am the Director of Catholic Identity and Mission for the Archdiocese of Philadelphia. Whenever we consider God's mercy, especially during this Jubilee Year of Mercy proclaimed by Pope Francis, our minds and hearts are almost naturally drawn to certain figures and certain images which come to us from the gospel. And so, for example, we're drawn toward the figures of St. Matthew and Zacchaeus, two tax collectors from the Holy Land. Both of them were in the midst of their job, collecting taxes and fleecing the people, when Christ encounters them in the midst of their workaday worlds. And he calls them out of that world of sin so that they could become disciples. As such, Jesus is very merciful to them. He saw them, he called them to follow him, and indeed they did. And this great act of mercy by Jesus thus frees them from their greed. Christ is constantly calling people by being merciful throughout the Gospels. He calls Peter out of a world of cowardice to be a man of strength. He's merciful toward the good thief on the cross when he calls him out of that world of sin and into eternal life. He calls all of us by being merciful when he says, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." The gospel contains one story after another of God's bountiful mercy. But I think the most merciful image of the gospel comes to us from the image of the Nativity. Certainly, mercy has the essential ingredient of forgiveness, but there's so much more to mercy. Mercy, my friends, comes to us from the Hebrew word hesed. And hesed doesn't merely mean to forgive with some emotional wave of pity. Instead, hesed means to jump into someone else's skin, to see what they see, to hear what they hear, to feel what they feel. This is what it means to be truly merciful. In other words, mercy in its fullest sense means to go through what the other person is going through. This is the true beauty of Christmas. That little baby who we honor on Christmas night and Christmas Day and through the Christmas season, he's the one who created the universe and created the canopy of stars that hangs over his head as he lies in the manger. This is what's meant by the incarnation. Carne being a Latin word for flesh. Well, God has taken on human flesh, and it's a supreme act of mercy. For God is quite literally jumped inside of our skin. And as such, our God is able to feel what we feel. He knows what it's like to suffer, to have joy, to be tempted. He knows how it feels to be poor, to feel abandoned, to be humiliated. And thus God deals with us not as some detached observer of humanity, some isolated, majestic figure. No, God deals with us as humans because of this great act of mercy, of jumping into our skin. My friends, every religion in the world is nothing but an attempt on the part of humanity to journey to God. That is, every religion but one. Because in our religion, in Christianity, it is not us who journeys to God. Instead, it is God who journeys to us in the person of Jesus Christ, who has taken on human flesh and thus knows what it's like to be human. Whenever we celebrate Christmas, we're celebrating really substantially the birth of mercy. Well, may the birth of Jesus Christ, the God-man, empower us and strengthen us to be merciful toward one another and to be merciful toward ourselves. And may this God of mercy, in this Jubilee Year of Mercy, bless you and keep you. God bless you.